What is up, guys? Today I want to show you how that you can make your own program based on your own personal goals, your own schedule, your own personal needs, just so that you can train in a way that is perfectly suitable for you. As you can see, I got a new mic too, so I sound smooth as butter. I hope you can learn something. Also, just a quick note that this video will not be revolving around the exercises you need to pick in order to achieve your goal, since everyone has slightly different goals. Some want to work more on strength, others want to work on their endurance, things like that. A video where I would describe all possibilities regarding your training would take me ages to make, so I assume you've already done your research on the type of exercises you need to do. If you haven't done your research yet, go and do that and then come back to this video, and then I will help you out to schedule your program. So the first thing we're going to do is set goals for ourselves. So here you need to ask yourself, what do I want to achieve at the end of this program? What are my goals? And your goals will need to be specific. You can't say at the end of the program, I want to become fit, because what is fit? Fit means different things for different people. So I want you to be more specific with what you want to achieve. Maybe fit for you is achieving 12 pull-ups and run a 10K race. These are all goals that are perfectly measurable. You can count to 12 for your pull-ups. You probably have a device that's able to measure your distance when you go running. If your goal is to gain weight or lose weight, then you need to be specific with that too. Also, you can't pick too many goals at the same time. You only have a certain amount of energy and time you can put into your workouts, so you don't want to spread this out over too many goals, because this will mean that you have only a limited time to work on each goal. Now that you have picked your goals, we can actually work on developing your program. The first step will be to develop a schedule. Open an Excel file or take out a notepad, whatever, that allows you to have an overview of your workout program for however long that is. So pick a duration. How long do you think you will need to achieve your goals? If you're not too familiar with this, you can always Google things. There's tons of information of people who have done it before you and give an overview of how they accomplished it. I personally advise you to make your program at least 2 months long. However, this can depend on your goal. As the next step, I want you to fill in your goals at the end of your program, maybe on different testing days. Then I also want you to fill in different training milestones throughout your workout program. These milestones should be in line with your end goals, but they should be slightly less difficult. For example, if you want to achieve a PR on the bench press, then maybe half of your program, ask yourself, how much do I want to bench on this specific time? How much weight do I want lost after the first month? Things like that. As a third step, I want to fill in the main obstacles for your trainings. What are things you can think of that may interfere with your trainings? For example, let's say you play football. If you have practice on Wednesday, you probably don't want to do a leg day Tuesday or even Wednesday itself. Maybe you have other physical training obligations throughout the week. Write these down too. Just fill in all main stumbling blocks that you may come across. The fourth step is to determine how many days per week you want to train in order to achieve your goals. If this is also something you don't really have an idea of, then you can always ask Google or ask a friend who has more experience than you, and ask yourself what you can do. If you know that you won't stick with training 5 times a week long term, there's no point in calculating that in. In the end, long-term persistence is the key factor that will grant you results. Then determine how that you want to split your workouts. If you're only going to do strength training, then you may want to go for an upper-lower split or a full body split. Do some research on it in order for you to make the best decision for yourself. If you want to do some cardio as well, how are you going to work that in? And what kind of cardio are you going to do? Maybe here you want to adapt the amount of trainings that you are going to do in the week, because you see that maybe it's not adequate enough. Then the sixth step would be to evaluate if you can calculate your workouts into your weekly program without interfering with the obstacles that you have written down before. If it's possible that you can calculate in all your workouts throughout the week without interfering with those obstacles, then you're good to go. However, most of us will have to compromise in some way. So see how you can work around those obstacles. Maybe after some thought and creativity, they aren't obstacles after all, and they don't really have to interfere with your workouts. Maybe you can wake up half an hour earlier. Maybe you can be creative and multitask your way through a workout. Is there a way to squeeze in some extra time for your own health? If you're being 100% real with yourself and you really can't find a way that is manageable to get around these obstacles, then you need to reassess the amount of trainings you need to do in order to achieve your goals, or maybe extend your workout program in order for it to still be achievable. Maybe you can extend your workouts so that you only need 3 workouts instead of 4. Play around with this. Like I said, creativity is key here. If you want to develop a good workout program that works for you, you really need to put thought in it. So after this step, you got yourself a training program adapted to your own personal needs. In order to make this program effective, let's look at some training principles that I highly advise you to incorporate in order to make your program more effective, more fun, and just attainable long term. The first principle, and probably the most important to make progress, is the principle of progressive overload. If you're familiar with fitness, then you've probably heard this term before. In order to make your body stronger over time, one or more factors determining how difficult your workout is should go up as well. This is how we make sure that our bodies are developing over time, getting stronger, getting better endurance, or whatever you're working on. And to make sure I do this, I write down my reps and sets, my rest periods, so that the next week I can do slightly more than that. The second aspect is the specificity and diversity balance. Of course, your workouts and the exercises that you choose should be specific to your own goal. If you want to become stronger in the bench press, then running 10K won't help with that. Otherwise, if you want to develop a stronger squat, then doing muscle ups won't help with that. So you will always want to work on the muscle groups or the movements that you want to become good at. In order to get good at something, we need to do that something. So that's the specificity aspect. I also strongly believe in diversity. I believe in exposing your body to different types of training, different types of movements that are maybe similar to the ones that you want to achieve, but just slightly different. For example, I really like to do calisthenics. So I do a lot of pull-ups, right? But when the weather's good outside, then I like to substitute my pull-ups for doing some rope climbs. And the thing is, it doesn't work exactly the same muscles, but it works it to such a similar extent that doing rope climbs instead of pull-ups won't hurt my progress in pull-ups. It might even make my pull-ups stronger, since in the rope climbs you're especially working the upper part of your pulling movement, and in that way getting stronger in that part may improve your overall pull-up. Also, if you're into running, playing around with distances and speeds and intervals and rest periods, these may all be really important aspects in order for you to make better progress. Also here, just be creative with it. Do some research, watch some videos about it. And if your workouts seem boring too often, then this might probably be a really good approach for you. Some of us are okay with doing reps and sets of the same exercises every week. However, for a lot of us, this approach may not work because we need some more diversity. We think it's maybe too boring to stick with it long term. That being said, we need to find a good balance. We need to find exercises that we like and are specific towards our goals. We may want to switch things up from time to time, just in order to keep it more fun for us, and for the sake of maintaining a healthy, functional body that's able to perform in different ways. A third important principle of a good workout program is the principle of adaptability. Let's say that you have set goals for yourself to achieve after the first month, or maybe your final goal. And when the time is there, you don't achieve them. That ain't too bad. That's definitely going to occur at one point or another. especially if you're a beginner and you have a hard time in predicting how long it will take you to reach a certain goal. Then think about why you didn't achieve your goal. Maybe your goal just wasn't attainable in that time. However, if it's something within your control, then fix that and just move on. It's no big deal. After you've thought about it, it's time to reassess. If you think it's something within your control, maybe about your programming and trainings, do some more research and adapt. Afterwards, you need to extend your program and readjust your goals to different times or dates that are actually achievable for you. Don't be demotivated and just get back on track. Consistency and time will reward you with the results. Adaptability is also a trait. Difficulties beyond your control will, without a doubt, occur, so be prepared for them. Again, creativity is key here. What are you going to do if last minute something wants to get in between you and your training? Can you maybe postpone your training, or maybe squeeze in a longer training the next day? Or what if suddenly a worldwide epidemic arises and your gym closes? What are you going to do? Are you going to keep on sitting on your butt and do nothing and just tell yourself that you will restart when it's all over? Or are you going to get into bodyweight training, do some cardio, and just try to stay as fit as possible instead of just whining about something that is beyond your control? So these were really the basics to developing your own program. Creativity is the most important part. Work around your own obstacles. Be adaptive. How can you cope with the difficulties that you face? These are things that are different for everybody. I didn't want to go too much in detail, but if you have more specific questions or maybe video suggestions, then leave them down in the comments. I will be more than happy to help you with them.